So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all of my dry ingredients. So this is the soy protein, and then I'm going to mix in my walnut meal. Okay, and let's see here. Then I'm going to take and put in my potatoes. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my onion. And then I'm going to go ahead and just mix that together. Now you notice I did not mix in the soy flour or the gluten flour yet, because the gluten flour is going to act as a binder. So you don't want to get that wet yet. As soon as gluten gets wet, it starts to bind together and it's hard to get anything mixed in with it. So you first want to mix together all of these ingredients. 1 second. And the other good thing about doing this type of stuff is that you can actually involve your kids. They can help you in the kitchen. They become more invested in what it is that you're making for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And my kids like helping me in the kitchen. So actually works out pretty well. So you're going to mix it together. And this is the thing. It's going to start to look like a little hash. That's what it's going to look like. But you want to make sure you mix it very well, because you don't want big chunks of anything to be in one particular place. You want the sausages to be able to mix together well. Okay, and I actually took some of the ingredients that I told you about and I made a broth. And so to make the broth, which is what you're going to use to wet everything and bring it together with the gluten flour, is I use this nice organic vegetarian broth. It's no chicken or no chicken broth, and it's called Imagine. You can find it. I got this at Kroger. I love it. We use this for so many different things, and it really has a really good flavor. And so I this with, as I said before, you take your Bragg's. I have liquid smoke that I put in here for the smoked sausage flavor. And I also mixed in about maybe about a quarter of a cup of cooking oil. Not even that. It's probably not even that much. And then I also mixed in all of my seasonings into this broth. Okay, and I kind of stir them all together. The maple syrup and the broth comes out looking like this. It's kind of brown, and you'll see pieces of seasonings, which is great, because that's what you want to see. You want it to be well seasoned. And the thing about this broth is you can season it to taste. You may want to put in more of something or less of something. It's not a big deal, but this is what I tend to do. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour this broth into my mixture. Okay, so Abby, and you did a really good job, Angel. Thank you. Okay. And now I'm going to mix in the broth. I'm going to take the broth and pour it over everything. Okay? And sometimes, depending on how everything works out, you may want to add a little bit more of the broth, a little bit less. It depends. It's up to you. But I like to keep it around just in case everything kind of just doesn't mix together well or soak up well. So I'm going to put it together. And what's going to happen is that the soy granules will start to soak up all of the mixture. Okay? So I mix it together, and this is what it looks like. It starts to soak it all up. Okay? See that? It's like a little mush. And that's fine. With the liquid. Then what you want to do is you now want to take your soy flour. And now that everything is wet, you want to do this a little bit at a time. You don't want to just dump it in, because if you do that, it's all going to gather in one space. You want to sprinkle it over everything, just a little bit at a time. And then you want to mix, okay? And as you do this, everything will kind of start to come together. It takes a minute, though, especially when you're not all dumping it in at one time. So you mix it all in there. I'm going to sprinkle it over, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and do this part, and I will post the second video after this, so you can see the finished product and how we're actually going to form it into sausages, okay? All right, I'll check you guys out a little bit.